bitch got facts. Feeds keep scrolling, nerves stay tight. Matchsticks flicked in the dead of night. They sell fear, cheap package the lies, while the clock keeps ticking, empires on fire. Can't sit quiet while the world's on edge. Lines in the sand, standing on the ledge. No script, no leash, no polish, quiet. Just a voice in the dark and a spark to the wire. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. Everybody's selling truth like a brand, buying opinions they don't understand. Talking in circles, screaming online. Keyboard courage, borrowed spines. Yeah, power plays dressed up as peace. Same old wolves with different teeth. But silence is loud when the house is burning. And the fuse is short, yeah, it's still learning. I don't dance for the left or the right. I stand in the heat, I stand in the fight. No strings, no chains, no manufactured choir. Just gasoline thoughts and an open lighter. This is and I'll bring the fire. Gonna light it higher. No filter, no fear, I say it raw. Strike the match, let it burn through the fog. This is and I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. World's on tilt, pressure climbing. Truth don't whisper, it's perfect timing. You can't cancel the smoke, you can't stop flame. Say my name when it hits, say my name. Why? Say my name. Say my name. Fire don't ask permission. Fire don't need a side. Fire just shows up honest and exposes the lie. This is and I'll bring the fire. Truth is harder. Burn it down till what's real survives. No smoke, no mirrors, just heat and lies. And I'll bring the fire. And I'll bring the fire. American fire. Strike it. Let it speak.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome. I'm at the lake, as I told you guys I would be. So if there's any differences in the stream, I just want to tell you guys right now, heads up, I'm on Wi-Fi today, a new network, so I can't completely vouch for how the connection will be. So if I stutter a little bit, if I buffer a little bit, I think I'll come back though. It's Starlink, so I'm trusting Elon's product. On top of that, I don't have my regular mic with me today, but everything else should be fine. We've got a big show today. My goodness, folks. We have the Griftas, the Fagistan, Podcastistan came out today, or last night, and said that they are going to announce a new party. So, crazy. I'm sorry about the audio, guys. I'm on a different mic today. If you can hear me too loud, too quiet, let me know. I will adjust, but as far as the actual pickup, it's not going to be the same. So, sorry about that. I'm lowering it a little bit. Hopefully it's not as overwhelming. We'll see what happens. But we're going to get through it. I did turn it down, and let's see where it goes. Okay, so sorry about the echo. Hold on a second. I did not have time to test this, guys, so I do apologize. Oh, you're right. That's rough. I did turn it down. Okay, hold on a second. Let me fix something here. Let me do this. All right, how about now? Is that any better? I'm not even close to the mic. So let me get this fixed. And let's see if that's any better. And let's see where it goes. Okay, so sorry about the echo. Hold on a second. I'm not even close to the mic. So let me get this fixed. Let me see if this is better. And let's see if that's better. Sorry guys, I apologize. Okay, so sorry about the echo. I'm checking my levels here. I'm not even close to the mic. That better? Let me get this fixed. Let me see if this is better. All right, better? Cool. All right, let's try that again. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, big show today. Even though here, yes, I'm at the lake, you know, things are different. Look at this, no green screen behind me. This is the room at the lake. I got natural light on my face. I got the locks flowing. Had a little lake time today, and you know, no hat. All right. So, all right, I'm gonna do my best. Sorry. All right, talk loud. I'm gonna go down. All right. How about if I adjust down? I don't even have gain on, guys. This is just the mic as it is. So it is. I had to use my webcam mic today. Is that better? Yes, no. I'll try to not yell. Okay. I'll keep it lower as much as I can. So yes, this is the live. This is why lives are fun, right? That's why lives are so fun. 88% better. Almost there. So close. Is this my daughter's room? No, it's my room. It's my lake room. So, okay, I'm gonna try to speak softer. Okay, we're just gonna speak. We're gonna speak low today. We're gonna be calm and collected. Okay, how's that? Is that better? Is that better? All right, that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna have a nice time together, nice and quiet, and we'll get through it. Okay, guys, we'll get through it. I'm gonna speak very nice, and as this adjusts, as I get here, we got a lot to get into it. All right, so we're gonna embrace our inner children today. Okay, we're gonna embrace our inner children today, and we're gonna do the show as if we're a bunch of little, like, you know, commie weirdos who, you know, I'm gonna start by just saying, you know, breathe with me. Yeah, you like that? Yeah. I feel like what's his face in what's his face in Office Space. Yeah, what's happening? So, did you get those TPS reports? All right. Okay, well, I'll do the show softer today. All right, guys, so here's the deal. If I do the Bob Jones Alex Jones voice today, you'll die. So we won't do Alex Jones today, unfortunately, because we have a big grifter report. So I'll tell you guys here that we have a big day today. All right, so we're going to start the it's my NPR voice. It's some A's. So, all right, I'm gonna do my Zen at the lake voice today, and my hat has an extra receiver. There you go. All right, so here's what we're gonna do today, guys. I'll just talk like this. I'll try not to be as excited and amped. Okay, we're gonna be just like buddies hanging out. All right. Yeah, Bill Lumberg. That's it. So, or I could do Bob Ross, you know, like, hey, so, you know, if we put a little, we'll put a bed here, and how about a happy lamp? How about a happy lamp? I think that's a happy lamp. Oh yeah, stuffed cat. Yeah, that would look really nice, really happy, really soft for my happy wife. Yeah. So there you go. Okay. So, anyways, oh, we already got a troll in here. Alex Jones tells the truth. I just want to thank Chicago Rancho for literally the funniest thing I've seen today. And we've got some funny stuff today because like the grifters are out. So yesterday, that's hilarious. All right, guys. So if you weren't paying attention, yesterday we started covering, the grifter get together, right? So, on the grifter get together, Tucker announced that now, today, 6 p.m. tonight. This was from last night. So tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern, they're making a big announcement. The new path forward. MAGA was betrayed. So we're going to get into that in just a moment here. We actually get to do the Grifter Report first today. Dave Ricard says, do I have earbuds? I do, but I don't think it'll help. I'll just be honest with you. I don't think it'll make it better. And also I run the risk of them dying because I don't know if they're fully charged. So, yeah, so we'll see there. But I'm actually surprised at how strong the audio is. Let me do another check on it. Yeah, the gain's terrible on that. You're right. You guys are right about that. You guys are absolutely right. Let me see real quick if I can. I'm going to work on the audio for a second here, guys, because I do think we can maybe get a little bit better here. I did not have the time to do a bunch of stuff on here, so I'm adjusting some I wanted to make an adjustment here. Let me see if I can. All right, does that make any difference? Noise gate. I could try the. If this doesn't work, I'll try earbuds, and then we're gonna get into it. Because I want to, I need to be able to get excited. What's this show if I can't get excited, right? And then we'll just click it out. All right, does that make any difference? Noise gate. I could try the. Yeah, it's still choppy. If it doesn't work, I'll try earbuds, and then that sounds better. Okay. All right. So, okay, guys, I'm sitting back. I'll try. Okay, I'll try the earbuds, and that's the last thing I can do. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I don't have my good mic with me. I'm on the webcam mic. All right. So, but let me try my earbuds, and that'll be. Okay, so a lot of people are saying it's better. Where's the tank top I promised? I actually was wearing my tank top before I went on, and I was like, I think this will be crazy. I don't know. It was a little weird. But yes, the show must go on. I apologize for the sound. But we're getting better. Okay, we're getting better. All right, good. So let me listen and see if I find this acceptable. It's still kind of like rattling, right? It's a little bit too much still. So I'm going to make one more adjustment and see if it helps. And then if it doesn't, because I feel like the headbuds are kind of tinny too. All right, and nobody wants tinny, right? So if I add some gain on here. All right. Okay, guys. Well, hey. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Sorry for the, all right, try the buds. Everybody's getting on the try the buds. So let me grab these. Where did I put them? Live shows, right? Am I right? Am I right or am I right? Okay, this is going to be the last thing I try though, okay, guys? Alrighty, hold on. Of course, now it's you're not recognizing my earbuds. This is great live content, isn't it, guys? You guys fascinated by this? Is this what you want? Is what you want of my? There we go. There we go. All right. All right. Now let me change this real quick. Okay, I got to do it this way. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Apologies, but we got a show. All right, so guys, hit the like, hit the subscribe. As always, guys, the rules in the chat. Please light up the chat. Have fun with the chat. Talk to people. It's the best community on YouTube. Have a good time. Questions, comments, disagreements, tag me. Just be nice. We're not gonna be mean to each other. I'm on vacation, okay, guys? Don't stress me out. Don't stress me out. I'm on vacation. I'm here for us. We're all together. We're gonna be friends. We're just doing this. We're going for it, okay? We're going for it. So today, Grifta Report will be first because of what's going on here. So love you guys. Thank you for being patient with me. I apologize for the audio, but let's do this. So last night, the grifters went nuts. Tucker, Marjorie, Joe Kent, they're all over the place now. It is full on. We are making a statement. We're going to do a political party. We're going to attack Trump. We're going to start our own MAGA because Trump betrayed MAGA. So Tucker last night announces MAGA's betrayed. We all were. It's time for a new path forward. More tomorrow night, which now is tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern. And here's their gay little picture together where they're all just like, we are plotting. We are like the founding fathers having dinner together and plotting our revolution. So, that's what they're doing. And it's ridiculous. But Tucker is making a big deal about tonight at 6. What are they going to announce? I have a feeling it's going to be the new party. Is Tucker going to announce running for president? I don't think so, because he'd be embarrassed. He'd be embarrassed because there's going to be no support there, as I'm going to show you guys here in a minute. But the actual party, I believe, is coming. I believe it's coming, and I believe what they're doing is they're going to announce this now ahead of the midterms to try and hurt Trump, try and hurt the Republicans ahead of the midterms. So after Tucker posts this, Marjorie Taylor Greene posts this diatribe this morning, okay? And look at this. Look at this. This is interesting. It says, any member of the Trump admin that wants to run for POTUS in 28 who's defended Trump's war in Iran, not spoken out against it publicly, has stood with the admin on the cover-up the Epstein files and refuses to publicly apologize for the American people for more inflation, high gas prices. By the way, this is nonsense. There's been very little inflation under Trump. It's just the same rate basically as under Biden. High gas prices with the Iran war will not be trusted. Listen here, this is interesting. Okay, here is something that a lot of people need to understand because of the messaging here. Right here it says any member of the Trump admin. Guess what, folks? You know who that includes? JD Vance. See, this is a shot. They are distancing themselves now from even Vance. And this is something that's important because we've had so many people be like, I don't trust Vance because he's a part of it. He's in with Tucker. He's in with the podcast crew. Well, we're starting to get the messaging of them distancing themselves. She goes on about Epstein files and lower cost of living, just on nonsense. And I have a feeling somebody else wrote this for her because she's not smart enough to put all these coherent thoughts together. But let's go back to the Vance thing real quick and what they're advancing here, because this is interesting. Cenk Uygur just put out yesterday, tonight. Actually, I'm sorry. This was this morning. This is for tonight. It says on tonight's Young Turks, Joe Kent said the group that met at Tucker Carlson's house, this little faggot crowd, the group that met at their house is trying to convince Tucker to run. So they were all trying to anoint him there. They think JD Vance is too compromised. Oh, isn't that interesting? Remember all the people like, why won't Vance distance himself from Tucker? Why is it? First of all, he's a vice president. He really doesn't need to get into the squabbles like that the same way. And Trump is Trump. Trump just does it because he's Trump. It's not normal for a politician to go after a podcaster and distance themselves. They're distancing from Vance. You see this? So that kind of kills that whole narrative being pushed, right? He also explained how they're going to try to appeal to the left to get a unity ticket to represent all of America. How stupid is this, by the way? You cannot get a unity ticket. There is no such thing as representing all of America. There's, it's apples and oranges. We're so diametrically opposed to each other at this point. You cannot do it. This is nuts. But here's a little clip from Kent last night, and showing you how they're distancing themselves from not only Trump, but also Vance, because they are scared of Vance in 28. They are, because I believe this whole crowd is scared Vance is going to carry the torch. Because the latest news coming out of the White House is that, well, it's whispers right now, but it's that Vance is now gearing up to run. He's making his decision, and Trump is behind Vance and Rubio as the ticket. But listen to this.
What happens to JD Vance in this equation?
I mean, look, I like JD. He's in a tough spot. I mean, his name's on the ticket, and he has had to go along with a lot of what's taken place in this administration. And look, at the end of the day, he is going to have to answer to a lot of those same donors because he was on the ticket. And so unless he changes things drastically, which I don't even know if he has the power to do at this point, he's still going to be at the mercy of a lot of the people that are still pulling the strings within the Republican Party. And I think this is just some of the trap of the Republican Party and the Democrat Party, because if you lock us into this two-party system, you basically have to pick your side, and then you have to go down with the ship, and that's the position that JD's in right now, because President Trump put the ship on the heading, towards the iceberg, for lack of a better metaphor. So look, I personally like JD. I think he, by and large, has tried to do the right thing in this, but again, he's had to get out there and he's had to advocate for this war, and so he is still associated with it, and this war is going to unfortunately, this war is going to have horrible ramifications. To what degree, we fully don't know. We're already starting to feel a lot of those effects. And so it's going to be very hard for, JD Vance or anybody else who stayed in the administration to come back out in 2028 and say, trust me this time, guys, because I just don't think that that's going to be a compelling message to a lot of the first-time Trump voters, to the groundswell that President Trump got in 2024 that had him win the popular vote and the Electoral College. People aren't going to go with retread promises like, no, I mean it this time. I was kind of against that stuff, but this time you can trust me. I just, even with, a guy like Vance, who I like, I just don't think that that's feasible in 2028.
Interesting. So it sounds like you guys have kind of given up on JD Vance at this point.
Did you guys hear that? Sounds like you've given up on JD Vance, to which this is the Young Turks they are now going on. The Young Turks, one of the craziest leftist organizations in the media. Okay, these are people who openly celebrate Hamas, openly, hate Israel to the extreme levels. Okay, the Young Turks are nuts. They're hardcore commie socialists. Okay, so for them to come out and Joe Kent to go on the Young Turks and disavow Vance. What do you think they're trying to do there, guys? They're only appealing to the left here. Interesting. By the way, anytime anybody listens to Joe Kent, can anybody walk away thinking they're he's smart. All he just said in this whole segment was the same thing over and over again. He just repeated himself 10 times. Just absolutely ridiculous. But they're distancing from Vance now, guys. Here, this is the full distance. And for those who think that this is 5D chess or something, this could be like the operation to set Vance up to look good. It's just nonsense. This is who they've always been. It's who they've always been. And what they're doing is they're going all in right now to destroy MAGA going forward. That's what they're trying to do. I mean, and as She Thinks Freely writes, nothing about this is organic. They've never been MAGA. They're trying to hold the American people into believing otherwise. Thomas Massie, Kent, all of them, exposure ends their grift, and that's what we're doing. I mean, Carrie Prejean Bowler just came out last night too. Like, all this is just over the last couple of days. It's all the same narrative. MAGA's a scam. Billionaire pretending to care about forgotten men and women. Trump's become a slave to the foreign terrorist state who hates Christ. Oh, yeah. The terrorist state that hates Christ. Unlike the Islamic terrorists, they don't hate Christ. You guys are big fans of them now all of a sudden. That's funny. What hypocrisy. What insanity. He chose Epstein over America. It's pathetic. It is pathetic. And then, like, it's a psyop when they're all doing it at the same time. And then today we get Jason from the All In podcast, which is one of the biggest podcasts in the world, says Tucker is running and he's taking over MAGA. He's taking over MAGA. This is so stupid. He's collecting supporters one episode at a time. There's no one in the GOP today who would beat him. How can you be this retarded? This is a guy who is like a billionaire. He's in the tech. He's worth a ton of money. He's best friends with all these other tech guys who happen to be on Trump's side, like David Sachs and what's his name, Chamath. These guys are all techie businessmen. Okay. Techie businessmen who are working with Trump. Jason's the one who has been the most like lefty, but for them to be like, we're smart people, and for him to say something this retarded is insane. Okay, absolutely insane. He's infinitely more viable than Trump was in 2016. Infinitely. Are you kidding me? Trump had way more years of building trust with the people. He was much more successful on his own. He was a businessman versus a media personality. He actually had the money to pull us off. Tucker's wealthy. He's not Trump wealthy. So for him to say something like this is just insane. But you notice it's all coming out at the same time. It's all coordinated. That's not a coincidence, folks. It's absolutely not a coincidence. And here's a little... So John Solomon ran a poll. What do you think will happen with a new political party? This tells you how much support and influence they actually have, okay? So with talk of a new political party or movement led by Carlson and Green, what say you? It will be a big success. 4% of voters say it will be a big success. Next, it will never get off the ground. 44%. And finally, they'll actively try to establish it, but it'll attract few followers, and they'll end up stopping. 52%. So that, folks, is 96% believe this is going nowhere. Does that sound like this is John Solomon too? This is a MAGA site. 96% of MAGA people on this site taking this poll believe it's absolute nonsense that they would be able to pull this off. That, my friends, is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. Now, just a reminder of who Tucker actually is before he starts running for president. Here's Tucker years ago during COVID, trying to push the COVID fear narrative. Just as a reminder of who he really is. America first, the true MAGA.
That's what this pandemic is.
Authoritarian government. Its leaders have shut down entire cities, dragged people from their homes in an effort to curb coronavirus. But it hasn't worked. Take a look at a grocery store in Milan. The shelves are bare. Panicked shoppers buying in bulk as in a natural disaster, which this is, and it's moving fast. The Chinese coronavirus epidemic turns out to be just that, an epidemic. There's no denying that now. First, we're only at the beginning of all of this. We're pretty certain of that. Dr. Anthony Fauci said as much over the weekend. The White House reaction to coronavirus so far has been uneven and limp. The U.S. government has spent weeks telling you that masks don't protect the public from coronavirus. That is a lie. In 1918, Woodrow Wilson's White House downplayed the Spanish influenza and refused to take obvious precautions to slow its spread. It will be just a few weeks until we are where Italy is now. In a few months, if nothing stops the virus, there will be millions of cases here. People you know will get sick. Some may die. This is real. That's the point of this script, to tell you that. Global pandemics are inevitable. There's too much movement to keep viruses isolated. We should acknowledge that. Boris Johnson is clearly in danger tonight, and that's a bad sign. Johnson is in his mid-50s and hale enough to lead a country. If this can happen to him, a lot of us should be worried, and we are worried. For those aged 70 to 79, the death rate is about 8%. For those over 80, it's nearly 15%. Truth is, we have no real idea how many Americans are infected.
You get the idea. It was just nonstop. All the bad news, everything scary, nothing trying to get us through it and understand what was really going on. Just Tucker being Tucker, which, you know, he does well. But this is why, ultimately, we don't need to fear these people because they're a joke. Marjorie Taylor Greene is now doing cameos. $150 for an intro or a birthday song. You guys want Marjorie Taylor Greene to sing you a birthday song? I guess her $5 million, you know, her millions of dollars that bought her a $5 million mansion in Costa Rica aren't enough for her. She's got to take that money for cameos, folks. $150. $50. Oh God, this woman is such a fraud. It's unbelievable. This is so pathetic. I mean, again, here's Marjorie trying to pronounce the word Gestapo.
DC jail, which is the DC gulag. But now we have Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho police spying on members of Congress, spying on the legislative work that we. But now we have Nancy Pelosi's gazpacho.
The gazpacho? I heard that goes good on a burrito. Get me some of that gazpacho. I like it spicy. Put it on my burrito. I think I order it in the Chipotle line. I mean, this is who is leading things alongside Tucker. Okay? You see, like, I mean, again, she's the one who put this post up, and that's why I told you guys I don't believe she wrote this, because she's just not smart enough. All right, but yeah, get the gazpacho. Get the gazpacho ready. You know, make it organic. Make it in the kitchen. It's better that way. It's better when you put a little, you know, get some avocado in it, but make that gazpacho. It's yummy that way. But ultimately, we shouldn't be surprised by any of this, okay? Because the mainstream media, how it was controlled, is the same way they control the people in the podcast area. And it makes so much sense once you hear a lot of these things. So this is one of the editor of one of the biggest Western newspapers, and making all the major media is controlled by intelligence agencies. So do you think it's any different for the podcasters who made it big? Listen to this.
I think that you look to a man named Udo Ulfkolte. Have you ever heard of him? Okay, so he was a editor of one of the biggest newspapers in Germany for close to 20 years, somewhere, give or take a couple of years. And he came out publicly.
Whenabouts?
He died, I think, about 5 or 6, 7 years ago, maybe 8, 10. It's hard to remember.
Modern times.
Modern times. But he'd been the senior editor, or one of the senior editors, for close to 20 years, okay? Mainstream, big paper, comes out and says that all the media around the world, the major media, is controlled by the intelligence agencies, okay? And he said he was the person who received the article from the CIA that said Saddam Hussein has weapons of mass destruction. And he took it and he published it. And of course, it was around the world in 24 hours. And he realized, oh my gosh, like what I've done and what's happening. And that sparked an awakening in him. But he basically came out and he said that the intelligence agencies have assets installed, have operatives installed in every media outlet, but that also that they're doing the bidding of the billionaires. And so he basically came out. He was like, listen, that's who runs the show. We are being paid by intelligence, by billionaires, and by corporations to publish information that manipulates the public into a certain perspective. And so I think when you take all that together, you can see, is it all one monolith? I don't think so. I think it's various factions, some coordinating, some not coordinating. I've heard firsthand that from people who were told that COVID wasn't about a disease, it was about an opportunity to restructure society. So this is, I think that it's much more premeditated than any of us would like to acknowledge. And can we put our finger on it? Can we say it's that person or it's that group? No, but there's definitely some kind of a coordination happening. Just look at all the contracts that Pfizer was able to get.
You think? You think it's coordinated? I can't tell. Yeah, I like the dung beetle, right? That's really really attractive way to get people to watch. But yeah, you think it's coordinated? I don't know, you tell me. Yesterday, all of them meeting together and making this announcement, Marjorie dumping all this out there. Same night, Joe Kent goes on the Young Turks. I mean, we got Carrie Prejean Bowler coming out the same night. All of them, the same thing. MAGA's a scam. MAGA's a betrayal. Stay with MAGA and you're screwed in 28. JD Vance is not going to make this. We can't trust Vance anymore. All of it together. Oh yeah, the Chucker's taken over MAGA. He's the truth. He's the truth. He's more viable than Trump. You know how stupid that is? But here's what the people see. See, Twitter's not real life. The influencerville is not real life. These people have very little ultimate influence. Their views are waning, their influence is waning. And I gotta tell you, I've done a video on this before, but just a reminder, running for president is one of the hardest things anyone can ever do in their entire life in the world. It is the hardest position to come to in the world. You have to have, the reason it's so difficult to get a new political party is because those political parties, not only do they have all the fundraising operations to get all the money in, they have all the connections, they also have it all built out. They are literally a committee of people across the nation, thousands of people willing to do the work. You want a new political party? It takes years to even have a shot to become a sustained movement and an organization that can actually field a candidate. A third party just running out of nowhere thinking like they're putting up their podcast is going to win anything is absolutely ridiculous. At most, it could get 3 to 4% of the vote, which is enough to derail an election. And if you know it's enough to derail an election, ask yourself why they would do it. Why they would completely attack MAGA and do this. There is a theory out there that they are going to make this all happen so that they can, it's some deep-seated conspiracy to create a new party to kill the Democrats. Folks, these are the wrong people for that mission. This is the wrong people for this mission. These people right now are politically homeless. They have no one behind them except for a little bit of bots and people who are independent, who don't choose a side, who just want to hate no matter what happens. That's all they have. But every MAGA Republican, which is most Republicans now, and every hardcore leftist Democrat doesn't trust any of these people anymore. Because of that, they have no way to gain traction for anything major in the future. These are the wrong people for this, which means there's only one reason they're doing this. It's to kill 2028. They know, I'm telling you, these people are deep state, they are intel assets. They know that in 2028, Vance or Rubio will win in a landslide because things are so bad for them. The one hope they have is to throw some crap like this in there to pull off 4 or 5% of the vote and let the deep state take back over with the Democrats. That's why they're doing this. Mark it. I'm telling you right now. But regardless, I will be covering this tonight. I won't do it live, but tomorrow's show, we're going to be going through whatever Tucker brings out tonight because I'm sure it's going to be fascinating. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. It is, not going to lie, it's really tough doing my show in this voice, with lower voice. I really like to get animated. This is not normal for me to stay so subdued, but I'm trying for the sound, okay? I'm sacrificing for the show. I know my sound, again, if you guys joined later, I know my sound is off today. I apologize. I am in a different location, okay? I don't have my mic with me. But I'm doing my best to put on the show. So got a lot more segments ahead. People are hating on me without the hat. Should I put on a hat? Should I wear a Niners hat? Will that make you guys feel better? Huh? Yes hat, no hat? You guys let me know in the chat. Yes hat, no hat. But I do apologize for those just jumping in. Again, I'm on vacation, but I'm still doing the work. And so sound is a lot better. Good. I'm going to, peaks aren't being suppressed. Let me see if I can help that real quick before we go into the next section, okay? All right, how's that? You guys let me know if that helps. But, all right. Is that better? Does that make you guys feel more at home? Does that make you guys feel more at home right now? Like, this is how it goes. All right, let me catch up with the let me catch up with the super chats. Holy cow, got a lot coming in. Dante Joyner says, no hat today, looking like Jeff Bridges from the Big Lebowski. You know, one of my favorite Halloween costumes I ever did was the Big Lebowski. I grew out my hair really long for like 8 months, and then I shaved my facial hair to look just like his, and it was awesome. It was awesome. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. J, $5 super chat says, didn't you pre-read your script to know this is going to happen? Yeah, nope. Sorry, not happening, but thank you, friend. Mongol Bloyd, $10 super chat says, grateful for your work, Ace, your content machine. Check out Divine Liturgy in your spare time. Come and see. I'll see what I can do. That sounds interesting. I'm always interested in that stuff. Sweaty Zeus says, $5 super chat says, if they cost Trump the midterms, put Dems back in, even the people who like them now will have biblical levels of hate for them. Well, you hope so. Some people still aren't waking up, though. They think these people are the ones woken up, which is just so retarded. But there is a lot of people already starting to hate him. Big Chungus, $5 super chat says, Tucker's based America First coalition's already poisoned by open borders leftists. This will crash and burn harder than anything we've seen in politics. We can hope. We can hope. That would be wonderful if that happened. Thank you, Chungus. Sunshine with a $20 super chat says, it's a sin to deny Jesus as Muslim. Did you know that? No, I didn't know that, but all Muslims deny Jesus Christ. So I don't understand what your point is. They might not deny Jesus as a prophet. They all deny Jesus as Christ, as the Son of God. So technically, Muslims are all denying Jesus. So I don't understand your point. But thank you for the super chat. Explorator V, $5 super chat says, they know it will fail. Point is to split the vote, prevent Republican rule in 28. Classic playbook from Soros and vampires in Brussels. 100%. I completely agree with you. 100%. Barbara with a $20 super chat, just saying, hey, thank you so much, Barbara. Andrew with a $10 super chat says, Tucker will announce the debut of the FAGA Party. Fake American Grifters Association. I love that. That is perfect. That's what I call them, FAGA. FAGA or the Podcastistan. Sleepy Trashman, $2 super chat says, no hat, Ace is a cursed look. Well, that's why I put the hat back on for now. You know, we'll see if you guys prefer it that way. Chiosep says, bots don't vote. When they do, they vote Democrat. Yeah, well, bots and illegals and non-existent people. So, okay, wow, you guys are blowing up the chat right now. Wow, lots going on. He says back who's the other guy. Sweaty Zeus hates the hat. I can't win, can I? I just can't win. No hat's cool. Should I go no hat the rest of the time? Just for you guys? Switch the hat up. Well, you know, it's a hat is who you are. People get used to it. I'm gonna buy an emergency mic for tomorrow. I'm not. I'm not gonna. I can't just drop $100, and I'm not driving an hour home to grab my mic. You guys don't understand how stuffed my truck was grabbing all the stuff for everybody. So my $20 super chat voice. I did see Martin Shen stuff down for finger. That's pretty crazy. Sway Zeus says $5 super chat. Bleach blonde, bad built butch body. True thing Crockett ever said. That's great. You guys are cracking me up. I hope, like, you know, just for everybody watching right now, I hope you guys understand, like, one of the things I like about my show and the way I do my show is because I want you guys to understand that, okay, I'm doing no hat just for today. Okay, just for today. Well, now my hair is even more screwed up because I put the hat on, but whatever. I just want you guys to feel the vacation, okay? Feel the vacation. But listen, well, thank you, Carmen. That's very nice of you. I like doing my show real. I want you guys to know I'm a real person, okay? I never want to be these, like, for lack of a better word, these assholes, okay? Who just act like they are you, but they're not. They meet in their little secret meetings in their super nice houses. They all have made a ton of money off their grifting. I never want you guys to confuse the two. I just want to be us. I'm a guy who watches politics from afar like you guys do. I do my best to bring all my knowledge and experience from years and years of studying this stuff, from watching it play out. You know, like when I'm at, like I said, like I'm at the lake right now, it's my mother-in-law paid for the place. She does this every year. Okay. This is not me living large. This is our usual family vacation. Okay. And so I just tell you guys, like, this is me. I'm just, you know, and so that's why the sound sucks today. I don't have a studio. I don't have help. All right. So I just want you guys to know, like, you know, if you like my show, like, you know, please like it, warts and all. I'll be back Monday. It'll be back in the regular office, sound setup, all that. But for now, we're going to have a little fun, and I'll just be different. And I'm going to do a pack of comb. What's wrong with my hair, bro? Although it's thinning a little bit. That's not, I'm not cool with that. My hair thinning out. I'm 42. I don't ever want to be bald. So I'm a little scared on that. But Ryan Gosling of Truth Casting. Thanks, Bedhead. $5 super chat. I appreciate that, man. I'm not apologizing. I'm just kind of telling you guys, you know, what it is. Like you know, it's real, and that's how it's always going to be. So, I brought you guys along with me. And we're going through it. Thank you, Brenda. I appreciate you. I can tell people are mad about the sound today, though, because my views are way down. Oh well. The true ones are here. The true ones are here, and I appreciate you guys. Okay, well, we do have a lot more to get into. Got 3 more segments coming up, so we're going to get into it. We're out with clapping hands. I love it. That's hilarious. Hence the bedding color choice. You know, we came here. It's I did not choose it. But you're getting salt and pepper? Yeah, I am too. My wife likes it though, so that's good. She says I look better with age. I don't know if that's true. I'm definitely fatter with age. Fatter and thinner hair, but you know, it is what it is. I'm a rad surfer, bro. It's the Californian in me. I can't get all of California out of me. And I never will. So there are parts of California that are awesome. Did Musk send you? Are you live streaming on Mars? I am live streaming on a Starlink connection. So in that sense, Musk did send me. There you go. So thanks, Michael David. I appreciate you. I got waterboarded earlier. Maybe I did. All right, well, let's get into the next segment. As always, guys, please hit the like, hit the subscribe if you're new. If you want to support the channel, you can super chat. Again, the community is always open for chatting. It's the best community on YouTube. Amazing people in here. It's like friends and family. We get along, but no trolls allowed. We will ban you if you're being a jerk. Otherwise, comments, questions, disagreements, tag me so I can find it in the chat when I stop in between segments. And if you want to support the show, you can always send a super chat. So one of the many with a $5 super chat says, I don't remember people calling into Rush and worrying about sound quality. We got soft. Well, Rush had a studio, so he never had that issue. And he was live, but he had a lot of help, and he had commercial breaks. So there's that. Delilah, thank you so much. I appreciate that. I will say, I do run this more of like hard news show sometimes, but then I like to get into the, I like to bring it back to reality sometimes, more casual. Bans for Niners Truth. Yeah, you don't get permanent bans for dumping on the Niners, but you do get a 5-minute timeout. Oh, Michael, there's no way my shampoo has any of that stuff in that. My wife is as crunchy as it gets, and everything we have is like nice and organic and all that. So my naked head is nose ring territory. How dare you? 50 minutes in. You guys complain? I do want to know, guys, real quick. Is with the adjustments I made, because I need to know for tomorrow, is the sound significantly better than when I started? Please let me know in the chat, and because I don't want to have to fool with it too much for tomorrow and Friday, okay? Because I'm trying to spend my extra time. I'm trying to spend my extra time with the family, so I just need to know if I was able to fix the sound enough. Let me see if there's any other. I can also add a little. All right. You guys can tell me if that helped anyone too. Much better. Okay, great. I do need a real microphone. You're right. I have one at home. I didn't bring it with me. Excuse me. All right, cool. Yelling. We'll see. I'm not yelling. Trust me. I'm not. Okay. All right. Let's keep going then. Thank you guys for letting me know that. You guys are the best. Thanks for looking out. Okay. So, in case you guys didn't pay attention last night, we have a midterms coming up. 90 days away. It's coming quick. Well, there was a primary last night, and actually a pretty big one. In Michigan, the Democrats decided to vote in one of their crazy socialists. But it's an interesting story, and it's going to tell us a little bit about going forward. So look at this. Trump put this out, which is hilarious. Great news for the Republican Party. El Sayed, a communist loser who hates Jews in Israel, is a projected winner in his race with a socialist. You see what he did there? That's so genius. Communist loser, projected winner in the race with a socialist. It's not even Democrats, just communists versus socialists. This is so great. As usual, polls were way off on this one. She was not expected to do nearly as well as she did. Now the Democrat crazy policies will only get worse. This is scary for the Democrats for a couple reasons. A, they didn't want him to win. And B, they tried to steal it, and they weren't able to pull it off. But let's look at this real quick. So Sayed wins. And this is about where it finished. Very, very close. Okay. Just over 3%, which he had a 14% lead in the last polls, and they got it to 3. They tried to rig it. So he was expected to win by double digits. Betting markets had him win by 12 to 15%. Why? Well, blacks and a lot of working class didn't vote for him, and that means they won't turn out. They'll be upset in the general election because the whole thing coming out is that he's a commie. People are waking up. As Joe Lang writes, I could tell his campaign wasn't that strong. We did a hard pivot from being proud of being a socialist communist and suddenly saying we shouldn't put labels on people. Guys, this right here, the socialist communist thing going on in the Democratic Party, I've been telling you guys, it is death for them. It's death for them. And they know it. This is why James Carville, and I've been having a lot of fun playing James Carville clips. This is why he's freaking out, because these people are winning, but they're barely winning when they're being propagated by the podcast sphere like Hassan Piker and the media, that they are way more popular than they are. But the voters are showing them it's not true. Now, as Seth Keshel writes here, Dem establishment cheating its ass off in the mail to save themselves from the DSA pick. It's one thing to try and sell me on a 53% mail margin in D versus R. Don't sell me on D versus D. And this is what happened. Look at this. Ann Arbor, 95% to 5. Haley Stevens. So that's the students, the college students voting for the commie. But then Stevens, the mail-in vote came in, and it was Stevens plus 53. They tried to steal it from their own party. They do not want, the establishment Democrats do not know what to do with themselves right now, because they are terrified the commies are taking over. And this is, to me, absolute proof that the Democrats they really don't want these people out there. There's been some people speculating, no, they're okay with the commies taking over. This is the next phase. No, they're not. No, they're not, because the people don't want them. And so they're cheating like crazy to try and get them in. Again, the mail-in vote was plus 53 versus the in-person vote with the students, 95 to 5. That's huge. That is a huge difference. And now Trump called it out as well. As Trump says here, Wayne County, Detroit is one of the most corrupt voting areas in the United States, if not the world. It's strictly third world. Miracles happen in Wayne County, including more votes being cast than their voters by a lot. Therefore, the communist who is not liked in Detroit is potentially in vote counter trouble. The radical left socialist has a real shot, and don't discount all those fake mail-in ballots that will surprisingly show up at the last minute. He called it. He absolutely called it. Get ready for another rigged election. November, we must vote for Mike Rogers and make Michigan too big to rig. And that's the truth, because they'll try to pull it off for Said, because they're going to go, oh, at least he's a Democrat. They're not going to help Mike Rogers win. Of course not. But they know less people are going to show up, and so now they're going to have to cheat more, and they might not be able to pull it off. That's why they were so terrified. They're so terrified of him, and that's why they're cheating to get him out. But he won the primary, and so now we got it on full display. We got on full display commie running in Michigan, which gives the Republicans a much better chance to pick it back up. That's awesome. That's awesome. The other big news last night was that, we got rid of Shri. We got rid of the puppy killer. This guy was such a moron. Such a freaking moron. But he's gone now, thank God. And we never have to listen to him again and his horrible rug on his head. It's just like, this guy's an absolute joke. But seeing him go bye-bye is very good. Now, here's Trump. Some of his remarks on Abdul Sayed here.
I have not found out who won the election tonight with Abdul. Who won?
It looks like it's going to be a long night.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting. That's what I heard. That's surprising.
But the DSA co-chair says that socialists are the new face of the party. Is that true for Democrats?
It could be. I would say so. The communists are the new base. Yeah, I'd say so.
Where are we with Iran?
I mean, don't forget, Abdul was way down a few weeks ago. Now I guess it looks like it's going to be a little bit of a horse race. I have not found out who won.
So the communists, as he says, the communists are the new face of the Democratic Party. I had somebody comment the other day that we're not that the Trump administration is not calling out the communists for who they are. And I'm like, are you kidding? Because that's all we've been doing is calling them out as communists. Here's a good example of Trump doing it again. And remember, folks, Americans hate communists. They hate communism. They're not going to vote for it. Even the vast majority of Democrats will not vote for communists. So when that becomes clear that this is who they are, they'll stay home. And that's why Trump keeps hammering it home. Here he is again.
Look, they've got a party. It's a mess. I think it's a mess. I think they should form another party, the Communists of America Party. You know? I think they should have a new party, the Communists of America, and it will do well. It'll get about 10% of the vote.
10% of the vote, the Communists of America. Here he is again, hammering this point home.
I think it's crazy because they're going to ruin our country. They want to, I don't know if they want to. I think either they're very naive or they actually want to ruin the country. No matter where you look, go back 1,000 years with different names, anybody doing what they're doing and what they're espousing, everything turns out to ashes and junk and filth. You know, one thing I said the other day for the first time ever, never thought of it, but you go to these cities that are taken over by the socialists and the communists, they're always filthy dirty, they're disgusting. They're always dirty, and, you know, I'm a clean person, and people I know are clean. They like that, and you are. I know you very well. You're very clean. But they're, aside from crime, aside from all of the other problems, no jobs, no anything, no money, they're always filthy, disgusting, dirty, and that's what you'll get. I think it's crazy because they're going to ruin.
I love Trump thinking of him as the germaphobe. Cleanliness, one of his big issues with the communists. But you can see that is. Trump's actually excited about this, and he should be. This is how you beat Democrats in a year where people are confused. They don't maybe understand what's going on with Iran and the gas prices, and you know, the people are frustrated. Things aren't happening fast enough. The people not paying attention. Well, the other side has nothing, which they still was, you know, might have been voted in as an alternative. But now you have the communist aspect. And as they win more and more, Trump and the Republicans are getting more excited about it, not scared. See, there was a whole psyop going on when this first started happening about how terrified we should be that the commies are taking over the Democratic Party. I always told you guys, this is a good thing because it's exposing who they actually are. And once people see who they actually are, you got to remember the entirety of Trump's presidency since the first term. It's been one massive exposure campaign over and over and over again. We've defeated the fake news media, especially the mainstream media. It's starting to go to the podcast sphere. We're exposing the Democrats for who they are, exposing Europe for who they are, China, et cetera, et cetera. It's been one massive exposure campaign nonstop. And you can see the Republicans are jumping on this. Here's House Republicans: eradicate communism. We choose freedom. This is all we got to do. Hammer it home, get that message out, and we win. We win significantly. Americans are not going to take it. And here is a great example why. Peter St. Onge says, in case you wonder why the left hates white people, here's approval rates of socialism and communism by race. You have white people, -9 on socialism, -51 on communism. Asians, +7 socialism, -24 on socialism or on communism. Asians get it. The only reason they're favorable to socialism is because a lot of them, you know, their countries are democratic socialist. Hispanics, +7, but -11 communism. And then black people, +29 socialism, +4 communism. Except, even though this is what the poll says, they did not vote for El Sayed. Why? Well, they might think communism's cool as a theory, but they also aren't voting for somebody who doesn't have an American name. I'm just being real with you guys. It's just like in the black population, they won't vote for gay people. It's just how they are. And, you know, sometimes generalities are true. In this case, it's very true. Now, with all that happening, so the Democrats, just the communist aspect is just getting worse and worse for them. And the Republicans are really stepping up the messaging on it. The next thing is that we are starting to see shifts in the economy. It's getting better almost on the daily. Manufacturing booming. Here's Trump latest on that. Manufacturing is booming. Factory activity hit its fastest pace in more than 4 years, far exceeding expectation. New orders have expanded for 7 straight months. American manufacturing is back. Stock market's all-time high. Record after record. Investors know America's winning. American exports are on fire. U.S. goods exports have now topped $200 billion for the 5th consecutive month, and we're on pace for nearly $2.5 trillion in exports this year. You know how huge that is? It means we're producing again. America is producing again. We are exporting at a record rate, $2.5 trillion. That, friends, that wealth, all that pushing stuff out of all that creation, all that manufacturing, everything, all that we're making stuff again, all that happening is the sign of a healthy economy, a growing economy, which means that wealth is going to start coming back here. And it's only a matter of time till wages start going up much more, prices start leveling out. Wait till Iran's over and oil prices go down. This is all ramping up, and it's starting to happen before the midterms. We still have a couple months before the midterms. There's significant things can happen in a couple months. Fake news and Democrats are doing everything they can to distract people's thoughts from massive successes, but it's getting harder and harder for them to do. Trillions of dollars new investment pouring in, more factories, more construction, more high-paying jobs on the way. Results are impossible to hide. This is the golden age of America. We're just getting started. We're already achieving heights nobody thought possible, and biggest victories are still ahead. I think he's right. I do think we're at the beginning. I just read the other day, somebody was like, my daughter, just 21 years old, got a factory job, $24 an hour in a small town. That's huge. That's huge. Those are starting to happen. My daughter just got hired at Chick-fil-A. I'm starting to see teenagers get jobs again. That's a sign of a good economy. When the teenagers get the low-wage jobs and start working their way up. All of her friends are now working. 2 years ago, none of them were. So it's starting to pick up. Even the ones that were of age weren't working 2 years ago. Now they're all working. This is a sign of a growing, healthy economy. Now, despite all that, we still need election integrity, and we still have our rhinos fighting back. John Thune the other day is getting pissed at the push on the Save America Act, which tells me the pressure is getting to him. But here's John Thune on the latest.
Leader, what is the status on Clarity Act?
He walked off after being asked about it. He is pissed of all the pressure Trump's putting on him. It tells everybody blame the Democrats instead of me. You can tell he's feeling it. He's feeling it. But Awaken Ally has a great point here. It says, truth is, if this fails, the Save America Act, the situation may well set the stage for extraordinary action to secure the election, save our republic by other means. And that's exactly right. Trump has already said it. If the Save America Act doesn't pass, we have other methods. And so we could see it. We could see deploying ICE to all the poll stations. We could see maybe, if it really, really is bad, some kind of military intervention. Who knows? But Trump, I believe, has several options on the table. Several. And if he declares an emergency, as this isn't passed towards the midterms, this is setting it all up. He's already laid the groundwork with the China disclosure, the declassification, and people will be more open to it. And he says, I say that because I can't comprehend being fully aware that enemies of the U.S. are going to be allowed to steal any more elections. And I agree with that. I think he's absolutely right there. Given what's happening, were they to retake control, it's highly unlikely we'd ever have another chance. Now, I disagree with that. People, again, are over their... People are making too much importance of this midterms, and they're very important. I'm not saying they're not important, but people are acting as if it's the end-all, be-all. That's just not true. That's just not true. But can Trump stage action now because of Thune and his reluctance to help at all? I agree. I believe so. Yeah. So whatever comes of it, though, folks, things are lining up, and people are starting to wake up. Again, the fact that Democrats felt they needed to try and steal this election from one of their own tells you how worried they are. And when you're in a war, you want to look and see what your enemy is doing to know how they feel about their chances. this is a great indicator for where we're headed in the midterms. And I believe, again, we're going into a really good place these last 90 days, but it is going to get crazy. It's going to get crazy because Democrats really, really need this one. All right, guys, hit that like and subscribe. Got a lot more coming up. In fact, we're going to talk about the latest on fraud and Trump's latest assassination attempt. They tried to kill Trump again, so we're going to talk about that, as well as the unpacking of more declassified documents about how the deep state tried to take out Trump. And so lots to get into, guys, coming up here. But before we do that, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Thank you guys for watching. Let's see here. Thune gritting his teeth. Thune is such a fraud, man. He's gonna lose in the primaries next time. It's just falling apart for him. Let's see. You gauge the economy by how many people are buying movie tickets? Well, I'll tell you, if that's your gauge, The Odyssey was a huge hit, and Spider-Man might end up as the biggest movie of all time. That's how well it's doing. Which, by the way, if you guys like movies, go see Spider-Man. It's awesome. No wokeness, just super fun. It's like peak superhero movie, action, comedy, heart. It's got it all. It's one of the best movies I've seen in a while. It is fantastic, and there's a reason it's doing so well. Let's see here. I don't see anybody tagged me, so Bronx apartment building has exploded. What? There's a attack in New York? Let's see here. Yeah, we don't need to fight in here. It's getting hard on some people here. Let's see. When we pray today, Bronx apartment building exploded. Let me go look at that because that's crazy. Let's see what's going on here. Lithium battery exploded. Jeez Louise. That's crazy. Yikes. Well, pray for those people, absolutely. DJ says, wouldn't surprise me if El Sayed has a surprise controversy and gets swapped with a de-establishment. You know, the problem is that it's too late for a lot of these people with three months left to the primaries. They don't have the time to swap people out that much anymore. So, yeah, it's not looking good for them. Not looking good for them to be able to do that. I think they knew that they were going to have to get out. They were going to have to win this one, which is why they went so crazy in the mail-in votes. Okay. All right, guys, let's get into it. I got two more segments that I want to get up to. Okay, so yesterday, Trump had another assassination attempt. It didn't really get close to him, but it was at his golf course. And here's Trump responding to them catching this person.
There was a man who was arrested, seemed to be heavily armed near the property here on Sunday. It's an ongoing concern, sir? Talk about that for briefly, if we can.
Well, the only thing I get a little solace from is they say only consequential presidents. And I am definitely consequential. I mean, if you look at the economy, if you look at what's happening, Iran, as an example, will never have a nuclear weapon. They already can't, but it's going to be formal. The Strait's going to be open very soon, or they're going to get hit very hard, and then the Strait's going to be open. And we were going to a tremendous attack, the biggest since World War II. And they called me and said, very politely, please, can we talk? Can we talk? They didn't want. And I said, yes, we can talk. Let's get it done. Finally, let's get it done. This should have been done by other presidents.
You notice how fast he moved on? Trump has got to be the baddest man I've ever seen. The fact that he can just say, is like, another assassination attempt, we caught the person, and he's like, yeah, it just means I'm consequential. He's like not even fazed by it. That's incredible. Incredible stuff. But the fact is, folks, an assassination attempt and the same timing as what they're doing in the fagosphere with all this announcing a new party, going full on with the blitz of MAGA's betrayed or Trump's betrayed MAGA, Tucker Carlson, all them. Like, is it any of this coincidental? Assassinate his body, try to assassinate his body at the same time as assassinating his character, his presidency. None of that's coincidental, folks. It's all trying to bring death to the man who's trying to reshape the world. And the reason is because of how successful he's being. And again, like we've seen it since the first term, but we're getting more and more insight into it. New declassified memos show the FBI opened a criminal probe specifically targeting Trump in May 2017, even though the Bureau's own evidence overwhelmingly showed at the time there was no collusion with the Kremlin. Russiagate keeps getting worse and worse for them. Here is John Solomon on the latest.
Hang on. Slow down.
Yeah.
There's one thing about Crossfire Hurricane and, Trump was a candidate and we were running a campaign, all that. And as horrible as that is, this is a sitting president of the United States. May of 17, I think, was our 4th or 5th month in office. You're telling me that the commander-in-chief of the American Armed Forces had an investigation started by the FBI and senior officials of the FBI knew about it, that let's forget for the second the people said it's all phony and you can't do that. How could you possibly even commence it if you already have information without senior members of the Justice Department and maybe other people in the government, the CIA, at least going and running it by them? You're starting an investigation of the president of the United States saying, here's our theory of the case. He is a Russian agent. Guilty of treason at the highest levels, in cahoots with Putin. How possibly, this is science fiction, how possibly could that happen without other members of the senior members of the government approving? And this is why I say it's just not bad apples. This is they're institutionally. How could you do this, sir?
Yeah. The people who approved this were working directly for that commander-in-chief. The people who wrote the memo are James Baker, then the FBI general counsel, and then Bill Priestap, then the counterintelligence chief for the FBI, Pete Strzok's boss. The people it is sent to for approval are Rod Rosenstein, the acting attorney general for all things Russia, the deputy attorney general for everybody else, and the acting FBI director, Andrew McCabe, who takes over for James Comey after James Comey's fired. Now, let's go through that chain, because once that referral is made, once Oxford referral is sent to Rosenstein and McCabe, the next day, Robert Mueller is named a special counsel. Rod Rosenstein names a special counsel to investigate the possibility that Donald Trump engaged in obstruction of justice as a Russian agent because he fired James Comey. Now, you have to pause there. That in and of itself is an amazing string of events. But we have to add something to it that maybe our readers and our viewers have forgotten. Rod Rosenstein is the person who fired James Comey. He wrote the firing memo. He knows at that time, when he takes Oxford, and upsizes it to Bob Mueller, that they didn't fire James Comey because of the Russia collusion case. They fired James Comey because he violated department rules when he closed down the Hillary Clinton email case. The man upsizing this is the man that knows it's not true.
Crazy. This is crazy. I mean, and Solomon is just legit. Here's a little more breakdown on Solomon on these new documents. But it says this morning, White House Government Transparency Task Force released newly declassified documents exposing FBI criminal investigation codenamed Oxford, Documents show the FBI criminally investigated Trump beginning in 2017 on a theory he was acting as a Russian agent. Like, we've known all this, okay? But here's the difference. This is the official documents now. This is a big deal. This is just like when Trump did his election speech, okay, calling out the fraud of 2020. We knew that, but we didn't have the documents. The documents matter. Now we have stuff to vote or to show the people who doubt us, who don't believe it. You now can point to something and say, look, we have the declassified documents. This is a big deal. says at the time FBI opened its probe, its agents had already debunked the Steele dossier. That is huge. That in early 2017, just 3 months into Trump's first term, it was already debunked. These are the official FBI files, and they carried it on for weeks after that. This is nuts. Agents had already cleared Flynn of collusion. Pete Strzok wrote Lisa Page. There was no big there. Bureau was alerted Carter Page was a CIA asset. CIA asset, not a Russian stooge. One of the lead agents on the case, William Barnett, had concluded he'd seen no evidence of Russian collusion. No evidence. And wanted off the case because the investigation became a bad game of Clue. Despite all that, the FBI still opened Oxford Comma, used it as part of a campaign to get special counsel Robert Mueller appointed. So this means Trump's entire first term, where they had Mueller running this investigation, it was all fraudulent the entire time. We knew this. Okay, Trump constantly told us, if you trust Trump, again, if you trust Trump, like I always say, it makes you right 96.7% of the time. That is why I am right 96.7% of the time, because I trust Trump. He was right again. FBI proved it. The whole investigation, Robert Mueller, which took up 2 years, limiting Trump's first term, all fraud. And now we have the documents to prove it. Remarkably, the man who knew the real reason Comey was fired for violating DOJ policy in Clinton probe, Rod Rosenstein, allowed the case to go forward and authorized Mueller's appointment. So he was in the whole time. They not only released documents President Trump, White House counsel Dave Warrington graciously declassified, but also assembled a stack of prior evidence that contradicted their predicate for criminally investigating a sitting president. And he's got 9,500 people voting that Joe DiGenova should treat the opening as an overt act of criminal conspiracy. You see what they're doing, folks? They're building the case for the RICO. They're building the case for the conspiracy to take all of them down. It's happening. This is all a part of that. The more concrete evidence we get of actual documents from these intel agencies, from the deep state working against Trump, the more the people will accept and be open to when this is all announced that they're indicting these people, when they're arresting them. This is all set up. This is how you do it. This is the beginning. This is how it's worked out, folks. Now we have the official documents. This is a big deal. This is a really big deal. Svetlana says, as I show in my upcoming book, Grand Conspiracy, all the fake intelligence against Donald Trump was manufactured at Cambridge University. Oh, CIA and MI6 spies paid by Obama. Cambridge University. City of London, folks. MI6. Please stop telling me that City of London is not our main enemy. The globalists aren't our main enemy. I'm sorry. It's just at this point, it's too freaking obvious. It always goes back to London. All roads lead to London over and over again. It makes so much sense. But Cambridge University, MI6, CIA got together. Crazy. And yeah, they helped, or they used China to help them for 2020. That's a fact. They did. We have the evidence. But like Trump said, a bunch of intel agencies in other countries helped as well. China, Trump uses as the Trojan horse to get in all the information so people will accept it, because everybody knows China's corrupt. But the real enemy, the one that was there from the beginning, MI6, City of London, here we are again. Genius Andy McCabe, who opened the investigation against the president, thought it was funny to call it Oxford and misspell it to hide it. So you couldn't look it up. That's what they do. The misspellings are often on purpose, so that you can't look it up when you're going through a database. MJ Chu says newly classified docs show the FBI formally opened this investigation only 7 days after Trump fired Comey. Bureau launched case Oxford comma only 7 days after, under the FARA Act. Hey folks, FARA. This is what a lot of people think is going to be used to catch media people, podcasters maybe, eventually, for not claiming and reporting their funds from foreign entities. Wouldn't it be poetic justice that Trump, who they used FARA against illegally, would use it back on them and their people? I think so. Memo states agents used predetermined criteria established by Crossfire Hurricane investigative team and claimed articulable factual basis reasonably indicated Trump was involved in activities on behalf of the government of the Russian Federation. We're still fighting this battle today, folks. With all this stuff keeps coming out, the people who are actually going after the podcasters, whatever, they keep trying to label it on Russia. This is what they do. Everything's always Russia's fault or China's fault. And yeah, sometimes it is. But they make it everything. Why? You know, they never bring up MI6. They never bring up City of London. There's a reason for that, because that's a real enemy. Who do you think Alexander Dugin's working for? Do you think he's working for Putin? No. He works for City of London. He works for MI6. He's a globalist. They always use their proxies. Iran, proxy of City of London. The terrorists that they fund, proxies. All of it points back to London. And that's why London, and what I mean by London, City of London financial globalist Davos system, that's why that's the one never brought up in any of this. They always want you to avoid looking at it. And they always want you to point the finger at something like Russia. This is the first public release of the FBI's own language declaring sitting president potential foreign agent. So there it is, folks. And this is why it's such a big deal. The first public release of their own agent, or their own FBI's own language, doing this. It's a big freaking deal. It's a big deal. And they know it. They're scared about it. But, so the justice continues. The trickle, 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 drip, drip, drip of nonstop information exposing all this stuff is there for the awakening and for the setup for when it's time to go in on it. Trump team is continuing. You think this is coincidence? This comes out right after Jay Clayton gets into ODNI on Monday, right after Todd Blanche is finally okayed to be approved in his nomination for AG. Do you think any of this timing is coincidence? I don't think so. Not at all. And that's why Trump is getting his team in order, making sure they're legit. Here is Trump, the last couple of days, been going after Jeanine Pirro. Why? I think it's a loyalty test. He's got to have the DOJ operating 100% behind him, ready to do the hard work. And he's really pissed at Pirro for not going after prosecutions for the reflecting pool. Why? Is it because the reflecting pool is the biggest deal in the world? No. But it's a loyalty test. Are you going to be able to stick with me through the harder stuff? Peter Navarro writes, I'm still wondering why Jeanine Pirro still hasn't fired the prosecutor John Cravener office who helped put me and Bannon unjustly behind bars despite its repeated urgings. Very disappointing. Talk ain't walk. Pirro struggles to give Trump the wins he craves the most. Is she just another grifter? We'll find out, but it seems like she's on the hot seat right now. Now, while Trump's cleaning up the Justice Department, making sure all his people are in place to really go after this, the fraud continues to come out. This is all their money being dried up. This is why the deep state is freaking out right now, because they can't survive without their money. This is nuts. Outrage erupts after a stunning report finds 9 million people, or 46% of Medicaid expansion enrollees, did not qualify. 50%, nearly 50%, nearly half of people fraudulently were allowed to get Medicaid expansion. $33 billion cost to taxpayers. Listen to this.
0.2 million adults that enrolled in Obamacare's Medicaid expansion may not have met federal eligibility requirements in 2024. That's 46% of expansion enrollment that year, and an estimated $33 billion in taxpayer costs. Paragon's founder testified on those findings today.
There's the federal eligibility rules that the federal government does a very poor job of enforcing.
Do all states follow the federal rules?
No, they don't.
Some of them cheat, don't they?
Many of them cheat.
Paragon Health Institute President Brian Blase testified at that hearing, and he joins me now. Brian, 46% of enrollment expansion may have been fraudulent?
Yeah, he will. Thanks for having me on. You know, Medicaid is a joint federal-state program. Traditionally, for the most vulnerable citizens, children, people with disabilities, senior citizens. Obamacare dramatically expanded Medicaid to able-bodied working age adults. And the way Medicaid works, the federal government reimburses state spending. The federal government pays states 7 times more when they enroll an able-bodied working age adult through the Obamacare expansion.
How much of our money has been stolen? How much? It's insane. I mean, and today, again, is this coincidence that today JD Vance is having a little talk about this publicly in front of Congress? Well, I should say with Congress, about the fraud, all in the same week. It says we've already uncovered and blocked billions in fraudulent spending thanks to President Trump's war on fraud. Now we need Congress to join us in this effort to protect American taxpayers, defeat the fraud industrial complex once and for all. Here's JD from this morning.
Is that I was shocked by how often we would just let low-level fraud go. Like $1 million of fraud, that's a lot of money. A person who had enriched themselves to the tune of $1 million, sometimes we wouldn't even prosecute this stuff. And even when we do prosecute it, we are limited by the penalties applied. The most important thing that we can do in prosecuting fraud is to make sure that the people who engage in fraud actually suffer some real penalties. And so we would love to work with all of you and see some stiffer penalties for the people that we're successfully prosecuting. We are throwing a lot of people behind bars, but we're limited by in some ways by the statutes that exist. We'd like to change those statutes and actually make it harder for people to commit fraud and make sure that when they do commit fraud, they go to jail and they go to jail for a long time.
This is going to be one of the main ways they get people arrested is fraud. It's just like Elliot Ness with Al Capone. Couldn't bust him on all the stuff he was doing, racketeering, gambling, prostitution. Couldn't bust him on any of that, murder. But what did they get him on? Tax fraud. And they were able to put him away. This, guys, is how we're doing it. They're going for the money. The Trump administration is so smart. They're doing what people should have done all along. People would always say, what were the excuses? We can't catch them in the act. We can't catch them in the act. Well, you can if there's a money trail, and there's a money trail for all this stuff. And Vance now is pushing that even though we're arresting these people, we need to change our laws so that they can be put up even longer. Because one of the crazy things is, folks, is this. The government let people get away with up to $1 million in fraud without prosecution. That was the Obama, Biden, Democrat way of running things, deep state way, establishment Republican way of doing stuff. That's how they let so many run away, get off it. This was actually the statute, up to 1 million in fraud and don't even get prosecuted. That's insane. That is insane. Why didn't anybody tell us this? Because this means that for a while each of us could have stolen $1 million from the government and not been prosecuted. Nobody tells us this stuff. God, we'd all be doing so much better. Talk about fixing the affordability crisis. Just let regular Americans do this. But that's insane. $1 million, as if it's nothing. You think the $900 they could steal in California without being prosecuted is a lot? No, how about just ripping the government off $1 million? And no statute to prosecute you. That's crazy. Thankfully, this fraud task force is actually doing this. And again, this is one of my big things, like for people who think Trump doesn't like Vance or he's pushing Vance out. Guys, this is one of the biggest operations going on in our country right now, in our government. One of the biggest operations of fixing things. And Vance is in charge of it and apparently doing well. I mean, we'll see how it keeps going, but that means something. It does. It really means something. Now, here the White House posting top wins from the anti-fraud actions. Again, all coincidence? Same day as D-class of FBI going after Trump. Same week, Todd Blanche, Jay Clayton getting in. Any coincidence? I don't think so. Small business loan, anti-fraud surge. SBA referred 560,000 borrowers with $22 billion in fraudulent PPP funds for collections. $22 billion. Ending LA homelessness fraud. They found in California, HUD suspended $220 million a year in payments to LA. Protecting disaster relief funds. HUD suspended payments to Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority, recipient of $2 billion in disaster funds. Unemployment insurance. Anti-fraud search saved $500 million. Identified $1 billion in unused COVID-era prepaid debit cards. All that COVID, man. COVID was just a massive money laundering scheme. That's what they used COVID for. Steal an election and launder money like crazy to our people. DOJ, FBI criminal fraud enforcement. FBI launched most wanted fraudsters list and has captured 4 of the top 10 most wanted fraudsters in the first 5 weeks. That's huge. Medicaid fraud. CMS deferred over $2 billion from California, $500 million from Minnesota in federal funding. Oversight and enforcement, MFCU, decertified New York, $60 million a year. Hawaii, $2 million for Medicaid fraud control units. Medicaid fraud war room saved $200 million in its first 90 days. SNAP, over $500 million saved in SNAP. Medicare eliminated 800 fraudulent hospice home health providers, $1.4 billion. 900 fraudulent DME, $1.6 billion saved. That's $3 billion total. Student loan fraud, FAFSA fraud. It's everywhere. Every single government program just full of fraud. This is insane. FAFSA, $1 billion. New York Times, or new real-time system projected to stop another $1 billion of fraudulent loans. They were just getting free money from the government. We're students. No, you're not. This is crazy. This is crazy. And all this coming out before the midterms too. We got to keep getting the word out of this. People see this. They'll feel much, much better about their circumstances once they realize how bad things actually are and how bad they were, how much we're being stolen from. They'll care more about that than if, you know, their cereal is 25 cents more than it was last year. This needs to get out there. This changes things a lot. And Trump is, you know, there's nowhere where he's not making changes. Daylight savings time is about to be permanent, which will be nice not to have to change the clocks anymore every year. But then there's stuff like this that we don't even think about, but how much the EPA and the environmentalists have screwed over our nation. For far too long, radical climate activists attempted to hold our great country hostage by drastically and unreasonably expanding intended scope of Endangered Species Act. Why is this important? It's important because they use this to stop so much building in our country. Commercial building, residential, you name it. Mining, getting resources up out of the ground. They've been using this act, the Endangered Species Act, to create managed decline. This is all part of the justice Trump is bringing back, fixing all these issues, all the fraud. This is fraudulent politics right here. Fraudulent regulations, fixing it all over and over again. This is complete and total regulatory overreach by unelected bureaucrats. They treated Americans very unfairly by stifling the production of important resources like oil, natural gas, and timber, blocking construction of family homes, critical infrastructure. Even our military couldn't train on land deemed off limits to protect a little rodent. Now my administration returned Endangered Species Act to how it was intended to be, just as great Justice Antonin Scalia explained in previous cases. While responsibly protecting our beautiful country, we're going to build again. And that, folks, is how we move forward. Eradicate the fraud, save the taxpayers' money, and allow us to innovate, grow, and build again. This is all part of the justice Trump's bringing. But this is what they're so scared of. Their money is drying up. Their ability to control us is drying up. Their ability to, which is taking away sovereignty from our people. Americans, the freest country in the world, has been very much not free the last several decades because of this. We've been being robbed. We've been having our rights infringed upon for decades. And they were creeping in more and more every year until we finally said enough. And this is Trump pushing back on this. This is all a form of justice. As it gets exposed, we clean it up, we stop the fraud, they start dying off, and then Trump, with this deregulating and everything, frees us to rebuild again. And this is how we get a much better nation going forward, while also getting all the accountability we've been dreaming of. I think it's all lining up. It's going to be a good next few years, folks. I truly believe that. Okay, hit that like and subscribe. Thank you, guys. Got one more segment for us today. Going to talk about what Trump's doing worldwide with Iran and etc. But let me catch up in the chat real quick. I did see, what was this? $100 super chat coming from Punch Cat. Thank you, my friend. It says some lake money. I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. That is very, very generous of you. And I'm super blessed by all you guys. Thank you guys for watching today, liking, subscribing. And definitely thanks to all the members and the super chatters. Just super blessed by you friends. Ariana, $2 super chat says, love you, but stop supporting Trump's insider trading. Well, I'm not supporting Trump's insider trading. First of all, he can't trade. All of his stuff is in a trust, so it's impossible for him to trade. Secondly, if anybody is insider trading on his behalf, maybe Trump does. Maybe he lets people know stuff. I can't speak to that. I don't know for certain. If he did, it's what every single politician is doing. And in Trump's case, with all that's been stolen from him, I honestly don't care. As long as it's legal, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. What bothers me is Congress and politicians who have lied to us for years, who haven't fought for us, who have enriched themselves off of us. That bothers me. Trump lost half of his wealth in his first term. Then he went through 4 years of hell where they lied about him at every opportunity. They fraudulently got him hit with felonies. They had a rape case that was pure fabrication where he had to pay out $80 million to that woman. It's all a sham. And so if Trump is legally, his people running his businesses are legally making some money by having connections to the White House at this point, I honestly don't give a shit. Sorry, it's true. Because that is the least of my worries. If he's fixing everything else while doing that, it doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me at all. So I'm sorry. We got much bigger fish to fry than everything Trump's gone through and getting some of his wealth back as a result. Because honestly, everybody, this is a rising tide, the stock market right now. It hasn't been up and down. It's not like Trump is killing companies to short them and make money off of us. So nobody's losing money if Trump's gaining money by the stock market going up. Nobody else is losing from that right now. So I have no issues with that. If we're all making money, then I don't care if he is too. Kate Overdyer with the $10 super chat says, Tucker Op Mockingbird first on Fox, 2 on Alt Media, YouTube, 3. Now is MAGA defector and third party. Tucker says CIA didn't accept him, but what if they did? Perfect CIA Mockingbird cover. His dad was CIA too. Kate, I completely 100% agree with you. Thank you for the super chat. I've talked about Tucker and his CIA connections many times on this show, and I definitely believe Tucker is an intel asset. I really do. So, 100% do. Yeah, Talia Dye makes the point that he doesn't even give. He doesn't even take his 400,000 year salary. So, what do I think the likelihood of a new party splitting Republicans and Democrats? I think it's very low. I think there's splitting is too strong. Do I believe that if a third party runs, it could pull off 3 to 5% and affect the election? Yes, that is possible. That is possible. Let's see here. Because what's that simple, bucko? $100. I don't understand what you were saying. Is it that simple? $100? I don't get what you're saying. You guys are welcome. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Let's see here. You're still voting for the party to encourage mandate you to take a killer vaccine. You're insane. That's right. I don't understand how anybody is doing the voting for Democrats. I just don't understand how any person could vote for them, but they do. I do understand you can be lied to, but as somebody who's always always research, try to find the best answers, try to understand things. I don't understand that, like, once you see it, you can't, like, you can pretend it's not there, or, you know, I just don't see anything they ever have to offer. So I personally can't ever get there. You know, I can't. Wendy says the title says Tucker launches a new party. Trump had a recent unaliving attempt. There's nothing about that in here. What are you talking about, Wendy? I literally covered the new party in the very first segment, and I covered Trump's this recent assassination point in this last part. You don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay. All right. Gonna get into this next section, just a second, but Don't Stop says a guy gonna unalive Trump at his California golf course is ex-military, had to be stationed in Alaska. I also heard they committed crimes before and was let out. Or maybe I'm confusing that with something else. I can't remember. No, that was the forest fires. My bad. I got that with the forest fires. Which party do I think would drain voters from? It depends who's running. If Tucker is a candidate, he's going to pull independents that probably would have voted MAGA. And that's just a fact. But he also, you know, so that, you know, all right. Okay, let's get into it, shall we? Again, folks, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you want to get to me, ask me a question, have me pay attention to it, please tag me. Questions, comments, disagreements, all are fine as long as you're honorable, as long as you're respectful. I'll get to them if I can see them. I just need you to tag me so I can see it. And then, of course, if you want to support the channel, super chats are always welcome, as are joining as a member and supporting the channel month to month. You are, I am a listener, viewer supported channel, so every little bit helps. GG Evan with the $10 super chat says, every time I hear City of London since I started watching You're Rich, I get flashbacks of the South Park episode where they parody 24. The Brits get revealed as our true enemy. You know, that's a great comment, Evan, and thank you so much. The South Park, they had a lot of stuff right. And now they've gone complete woke. But here's the thing with South Park. I think South Park has Trey and Matt, before they were bought off or controlled, who knows, told to do certain things a certain way. I think they saw a lot of things being on the insider track of the celebrity world and seeing how things really worked. And so they wanted to mock stuff that we would think is so insane, we wouldn't believe it. And so they played that game for a while. This is like when they do movies that actually tell the truth about things that are happening, but act like it's entertainment. See, there is a belief in this, you know, the Satanist cabal that, you know, most of us believe that they are attached to, Moloch worship, Baal worship. There's this belief that they have to tell us what they're doing. And so in order to be saved or be, you know, purged of consequences once they go through with it. So they believe that, and that's why a lot of it is communicated to us through entertainment, because it's the easiest way to be dismissed. But having said all that, South Park was, you know, listen, I'll be honest, the first 18 seasons of South Park are freaking hilarious. Yeah, there might be a little left-leaning in there, but they also call out all kinds of woke nonsense. They were freaking funny. I love old South Park. I still go watch them. They're hilarious. And then in the last couple of seasons, they went hardcore, woke, anti-Trump stupidity. And it's just not funny anymore. But early South Park, even, it's extremely offensive, but it is funny. And it makes like really good points, salient points on a lot of stuff that other people wouldn't say. But anyways, but yes, they did. They called out stuff that was legit that nobody would touch. So... Monica says South Park tried to warn us till they gave up and started to hate the audience, thinking we want to listen. I mean, that's an interesting theory. I haven't heard that one. I don't know if that's true or not, but yeah, the last season was terrible. Terrible. Anyways, listen, don't watch don't don't watch South Park unless you're okay with being offended. But there's some really funny stuff in South Park. Really funny stuff. Listen, the South Park episode of World of Warcraft, it might be the funniest episode of comedy I've ever seen in my life. It is so funny. And like the highs of South Park were some of the highest things I've ever seen. I mean, the episode where Cartman goes to the water park and it's all immigrants. He's like the only white person. He's just so racist. It's so funny. They all pee in the pool. It's so funny. That stuff kills me. So I'm sorry. It's just old South Park. I will watch forever. I'll vouch for it. It's freaking hilarious. So they are just they have some great moments. Bruce with 20 gifted memberships. Thank you, Bruce. That is awesome, man. So everybody just got a membership. Welcome in. Now you can get into members only lives and the Patreon, or I'm sorry, the Discord. So welcome. Thank you, Bruce, for your overwhelming generosity. I appreciate you. So okay. We gotta get into it. Hey, you guys got me distracted. You guys got me distracted with the South Park talk. So it's just too funny, man. Oh, the other thing, I'm sorry, now I'm thinking about South Park. The other thing that was so funny in South Park was there's the NAMBLA episode where they call out, pedophilia, North American Man Boy Love Association. I mean, they went there. They went there on stuff nobody would touch, nobody would talk about. They literally exposed stuff that nobody knew about. Most people didn't know NAMBLA was a thing, and then South Park does an episode on it. Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry, there's a lot of stuff that South Park was amazing. For them to like destroy Scientology in an episode when Scientology like runs Hollywood, or is a big part of running Hollywood, that stuff is just like unbelievable stuff. It was great. It was great until Trump came along and they just lost their minds. So, yeah, that stuff is hilarious. It's like Cartman on the internet. Hey, I'm an 8-year-old boy, and I just want to make some more mature friends. And I hope if you're a mature person, you'd want to hang out with me. And all these men are just like, what's up? It's so bad. It's so funny. Sorry. You guys should have never got me started on South Park. I'm a big fan. I am a big fan. Oh, anyways. All right, let's get into it, folks. This will be the last segment of today. And then I'm going to have some lake time with my family. Charlene says, why does it sound so bad? Here it is. Sorry, guys. My sound, I don't have my regular mic with me because I'm at a lake house for the next 3 days. So doing my best, trying to be more subdued. But I think most people have figured out how to live with it again. So sorry, guys, if you don't get a gift membership, it has nothing to do with you. YouTube randomly chooses them. Sucks. I know it is. I'm sorry. But hey, if you're super upset about not getting a free membership, guess what? I'm giving you one. Click on the Patreon link in the description below. If you click that and you go sign up for Patreon, you get a free month, a whole month to try out my membership, see if it's worth supporting the show. If you like the members only content and the Discord group, then you can decide to stay, but you get a free month. So I'm giving you a free month for everybody who didn't get one. Okay. Yeah, the last season of South Park was trash, which I was saying. So, but yeah, go on the Patreon if you want a free month, okay? In the description. All right, guys. So where are we at right now in Iran? Well, the latest in Iran is Trump, a deal is coming. We'll see if that holds. It's very interesting. We're here again, right? Deal, no deal, on again, off again. That whole game's being played. But here's something very interesting that is now coming out while we're supposedly getting another deal. Last night we found out the Kurds are invading Iran.
It's big. A U.S. official telling Fox thousands of Iraqi Kurds have launched a ground offensive in Iran. Decimated, destroyed, defeated. All words the Pentagon used to describe Iran's various military forces on day 5 of Operation Epic Fury. Moments ago, President Trump touting
thousands of Iraqi Kurds just launched ground invasion of Iran. Comes a day after a report CIA was arming the Kurds for this type of invasion. Now, pretty crazy. If this is what they were planning all along, folks, makes sense. We don't send American troops in. We send ours in. Very interesting. Well, Tom Longo writes this because, first of all, Nafal reports on the upcoming deal. Oops. Tehran signaling real progress on the Hormuz talks, with a deal possibly landing Wednesday. Diplomatic sources in Tehran describe positive indications, though the situation remains fragile and has collapsed at this exact stage before. You guys see how, like, everything seems to be lining up? Everything seems to be lining up for the Trump administration. This whole plan to topple Iran? Interesting. Foreign Ministry spokesman told Iranian state TV talks are underway to determine safe trajectory. Condition as sticking point in plain language. Routes must fulfill sovereign rights and security concerns of both the Iranian and Omani sides. Tehran assesses diplomatic engagement positively on both the technical and political tracks. So when Mario Nafal is reporting there's real progress coming out of Tehran, Nafal is not somebody I trust. I'll just be honest with you guys. He does report real news sometimes. And if he's forced to say this, some might be switching, some actually might be happening this time. As Longo writes, Iran lost this war months ago, and I agree with this. This is the take I've agreed on this whole time. People negotiating with Trump are not the same ones firing missiles. That is true. It's the IRGC versus the people in the administration of Iran trying to get out of this. They're the ones who are holding on to draw out the headlines. This is Ukraine, but with missiles and boats rather than thousands of dead young Slavic men dying in trench warfare. And he's exactly right. When he means this is Ukraine, he's saying this is a City of London war of a proxy state of theirs that they cannot afford to lose. And so they will hold on and try to see it through no matter what. So when we have the IRGC being weakened and the rest of Iran is like, oh man, we need to make a deal. We need to get out of this. The IRGC, which is shadow banked by Europe, by the City of London, and they're like, nope, we're going right back to fighting. We keep pulling it back in. See, there's different factions in Iran. The IRGC is the one that keeps dragging them in. Ida Turan has been one of the best sources on what's going on, explains this really well. You want to know what's stopping Trump from regime change in Iran. Stop looking only at Iran. The main obstacle is the Arab countries strongly backed by Europe, especially Britain. Qatar, people? Qatar is very strongly backed by Britain. UAE, and then, of course, IRGC. They want Iran to stay anti-American, anti-Israel, and weak. That way, Europe keeps control in the region. America stays far from the most important geopolitical point in the world. Folks, this is the kind of stuff I've been saying for months now, and now it's becoming regular conversation. People are picking up on this, and it's getting out to the mainstream. This tells you we were ahead of the curve. Watch the video from a famous Arab commentator. He's furious Trump wants to bring back the Shah's son and openly says if the Islamic regime fails, Arabs will fall too. Explains why the regime's lasted 47 years. The Arabs, with European support, have been its real lifeline. No, make sure to emphasize it's not all Arabs, and it's not all Arab countries, but it is the ones that have this City of London connection. Trump's already handled China to a large degree and can handle Russia. Biggest remaining problem is this Arab-European partnership. They know a strong Iran allied with America and Israel would destroy their power. They cannot compete fairly. They only know how to sabotage stronger forces in the region. The entire Palestine cause is pure propaganda, a machine built to undermine the winners. It's the oldest loser's trick. Attack the strong side morally with lies so the losers can rise again. They did against the Shah and have done against Israel for decades. They're terrified if the regime falls, the crown prince will return. So they play double games. Want the regime weakened for their benefit, but never fully removed. As long as it stays weak but alive, they keep their influence. In 1979, same powers led by Britain, don't forget that, and the CIA, by the way, helped bring down the Shah precisely to cut the strong U.S.-Iran alliance and keep America out of the heart of the Middle East. Trump's deliberately giving them time. He could neutralize the regime completely, but choosing not to yet, making them feel the cost of their own games. Look how the regime keeps bombing Saudi Arabia and other Arab states. He's left them few real choices. Stop the double games, help remove the regime, or keep paying the price. It's how you force cooperation, by tying their interests to yours. That's what Trump's doing, the same path the UAE already started. When you see Qatar, Saudi trying to mediate, don't panic. Trump knows the game. Meanwhile, dealing with regime's proxies, letting the Arabs feel the pain in their own strategy. Look at the American military assets in the region. They're not there for a deal with the regime. They're there to force its surrender. This regime is a paper tiger. Once Saudi Arabia and Qatar finally cooperate, it will collapse quickly. Well, Saudi Arabia's already been cooperating in joint effort with us. So, guys, this is all starting to come out where more and more people can see it. And it makes so much sense, doesn't it? So much sense. So Iran is on the case of being exposed for what they really are as Trump continues. Again, everything Trump does, while it's got multiple, he's got multiple purposes in all of it, but it's always sovereigntist versus globalists, and it's always mass exposure. Those two things are pretty much leading and a part of everything Trump does. And we got the mass exposure part going on here as well. Top American generals formed a secret back channel with CCP military intelligence front that instructed them. We wish you would advocate positions favorable to China, and some were on China's payroll. This is generals in our army bought off. Wonder why Trump has had so much trouble getting stuff done for so long, while the deep state even extended to our military, which is now being exposed. American military participants: Peter Pace, Joint Chiefs Chairman; Bill Owens, former Joint Chiefs Vice Chairman. Remember when Trump cleared out the Joint Chiefs and they were so pissed about it? Well, now it makes sense, doesn't it? John Abizaid, CENTCOM Commander; George Casey, former Chief; Ray Odierno, former Chief; Jonathan Greenert, former Navy Chief. And it just goes on, and she's got all the names. And this, when did it start? 2008, right before Obama came in, under Sonia Initiative, funded by QSEF, conducted with CAIFC, group congressional investigators identified as a front for PLA. That's crazy stuff. All this keeps being exposed for folks. Within a year, they're delegates sitting face to face with Hillary Clinton. Meetings were not confined to ceremonial diplomacy. Delegations discussed nuclear proliferation, terrorism, military exchanges. By 2012, the operation reached the U.S. Naval Academy, included sitting members of Congress. During this time, this is when Obama was letting our military run out of ammo, fall apart, basically. All of it, folks. Things were so much worse than we ever knew. For anybody who's like, oh, things are just this, the same. Trump ruined everything. He brought all this. He's made things crazy. He's made it so toxic. Yeah, you know why? Because it was toxic. We were eating poison as a nation. We were dying. We were eating arsenic in every meal as a nation, and our body was dying. And now Trump is violently trying to save us, and so it feels tough. It feels hard. It feels intense. But this, when you realize how bad things actually were, folks, it makes so much sense. Now, Trump, with all this military operations going on, just announced happy birthday to the Coast Guard. Interesting. Right here, he says, under my administration and under Mark Wayne Mullin, we're rebuilding the Coast Guard like never before. Well, what's the Coast Guard does? Protect our ports and our shores. The first of 11 new Arctic security cutters I order will be delivered in 2028, ensuring strength, sovereignty, and security in the Arctic for generations to come. Well, that's interesting. With Greenland? Huh. That's very interesting. We're upping our protection of our borders again, sovereignty, but also forcing our military presence building it up. Remember, Trump has requested $1.5 trillion for our military budget after years and years of us all, and I feel like almost all of us bought into the lie, the idea that the Pentagon was overfunded. But we're finding out now that maybe it was underfunded this whole time, and it was the welfare state and everything else that was actually bleeding us dry. All the fraud, not the Pentagon. And don't get me wrong, wars in Afghanistan, Iraq, stuff like that, that was fraudulent in its own way, and that stole from us. But I'm just talking about funding the military in general, so that we're so strong nobody can mess with us. Look how strong we are already with the current funding. Trump's now requested that funding to go up almost 50%. Very interesting stuff. Shoring us up in the Coast Guard, something we don't think about too much. And then he's bringing it to Texas. Texas has joined the gauntlet. This is a government contract gauntlet moving into orbit. Texas just got plugged directly into Space Force. There's the gauntlet. Company walks in with something that works. AFRL tests it. Fast contracts move to the field. Programs of record turn to full-scale production. Texas already has 450 million pointed Starship factories, rocket engines, hypersonic satellite communications, lunar vehicles, orbital data centers, and manufacturing in space. Each layer being built in one state, wired straight to military demand. Golden Dome needs industrial machine behind it. This is that machine taking place. Texas becomes the ground floor of America's orbital arsenal. Energy, compute, factories, launch, communications, logistics, and defense moving through one pipeline. Once this works, the model spreads across the country. America becomes a factory. Orbit becomes a high ground. Building and innovating. This is all part of the boom moving forward. Our military becomes the strongest it's ever been by far. All the stuff we're doing with space and tech. Folks, we're about to see, you think AI is a big thing? Wait till all the other tech comes out that's been being withheld from us. The managed decline is over. Trump is racing us forward so that we are far ahead of every country, and we can see it and we can profit from it as a nation. This puts us above everybody else. This is sovereignty. This is making America America again. This is all part of what he's doing worldwide. Exposing China, exposing Iran, exposing City of London, breaking their tentacles off of us. This is all part of it. And a lot of people are waking up to this more every day. Here's Glenn Beck with an excellent summation of what he's seeing Trump do right now.
Explain to me what you mean when you say that these are indications that President Trump is resetting the world order and the implication of that.
Donald Trump is changing the new world order entirely, and it won't be fully understood for probably another 5 to 10 years. That on top of he says it's over $20 trillion of investment. Let's just say it's 10 trillion. $10 trillion in building new factories here at home. So we are making things again with AI, with the rebuilding of factories, with the dominance of energy and oil. I'm sorry, gang, but the world doesn't work without real energy, without gas, LP, and oil. With controlling the choke points, getting out of the Middle East, hopefully, if this works, he's completely redesigned the entire world. He has made a bigger impact than any other president, maybe since Lincoln. He becomes one of the most impactful presidents of all time, if it works. That jury is still out. But if it works, he changes the entire course of the world. Everything that he has done is 100% America first. The problem is nobody in the media will explain it. Everybody wants to look at everything he does as a one-off. And you know what? If I hadn't been traveling with him during the election, I don't know if I would have seen it as quickly as I did. This guy has been thinking this through forever. People try to make him look like a bumbling idiot, and they don't realize there is genius behind this. There is real strategy. He tried to fix America's economy. What happened? The next guy comes in, destroys it all. He's trying to fix it. So by fixing the bigger problems, the structural problems that start overseas with the WEF and all of our trade agreements and tariffs and everything else, by fixing those, he believes I can fix the economy long term. If you can get there, we save the world. not just the nation. We save the world.
Why do you think that people don't see the
play
strategy?
They've fallen into the trap. The enemy is Donald Trump. The enemy is the pedophile government, whatever the enemy is. And if you just say that's the enemy, you can get all of these people who believe all these different things to stand together. And it's imperative that for those of us who actually believe in the country, we don't engage in the grievance. We engage instead on, we hold these truths to be self-evident. This is what we need to fix and rebuild, not what we're going to destroy, what we're going to rebuild.
That right there is one of the greatest summations in under 3 minutes I've seen from anybody on what Trump's doing. The fact that Glenn Beck gets it and gets it so clearly, couple of things here. It tells me that Glenn is actually probably a true patriot. He's been thrown in with the grifter crowds at times, and yeah, he's had moments where I disagreed with him. But very few people get what Trump's doing, even that pretend to support him or, jump on the Trump train. To say it that clearly tells me Beck gets it. It's very few people who are willing to say what Beck just did. But that's exactly what's happening. And he knows it and he sees it and he's all in. I love this. It is fantastic. We should be spreading this to everybody. Everybody who has a question about Trump, send them this clip. Because what Beck just said encapsulates it all. It encapsulates it all. What he's doing for our nation, for the world. This is the greatest time to be alive. You know why? Because you guys, me, we all get to see the world changing in better ways. And most of it is stuff we've always dreamed about. Some of it is stuff we didn't know we needed. Some of it Trump's doing better than we expected. But this takes time. We have against us true enemies embedded deep within our own country, within our own institutions, embedded deeply in other countries and systems that we just had no idea about. It takes time to unwind all that. It takes time to fix it all. It takes time to create a new foundation. That's why it feels like Trump is everywhere right now, in everything, whether it's fraud here at home, fixing elections, fixing the world, bombing Iran, taking out Venezuela's leadership, pushing back China, messing with Europe. I mean, everywhere. He's everywhere. And it makes so much sense when you understand that. That's why the attacks are coming from everywhere. Republicans in his own party, obviously the Democrats, obviously the communists, the media, and yes, those who pretended to be on our side. Because what he is doing is so consequential and so all-consuming, it is beyond what anything we could have ever dreamed of happening, which is why sometimes it seems so confusing. I get regularly people are like, I just wish Trump would focus on here. And all I can say is, are you kidding me? He's doing more here than any president's ever done, while also doing it over there. But here's the ticket. He can't fix everything here until he also fixes what's over there, because we were part of a globalist system. And that's now being broken. That's what Trump's doing. Beck gets it. This is fantastic. And he's absolutely on it. Folks, when we're done, Trump still has 2.5 years. I truly believe, whoever's next is going to be fully vetted and endorsed by Trump to carry on the movement. So whether it's Vance, Rubio, DeSantis, whoever it is, you better believe Trump knows better than me, better than you, because he's doing all this. You think he's going to let the next person be somebody he doesn't trust to keep moving with it? Absolutely freaking not. So if we stay together, if we keep voting, if we keep exposing and letting this, what's happening, if we keep explaining that, showing people what's going on, we cannot lose. And our future is as bright as it's ever been. I personally, today, every day, feel better about our future than I did the day before, because I'm watching what's happening. And I hope that just like Glenn Beck seeing it, all of us can start seeing it more. and be more excited about where we're going, and then decide what we're going to do to make sure we see it through. Okay, guys, hit that like and subscribe. That's going to be the last segment for me today. I am going to get in the chat for a couple minutes, just catch up, make sure I didn't miss anything, and then I'm going to have to call it a day because I got to get to my kids. They're fishing without me. But let me make sure I'm not missing anybody who tagged me on anything. Wanted to get to me. Yeah, lots of people love that Beck clip. It's so good. So good. Yeah, Beck killed it. TDS says, I think people are afraid the clock's going to run out before the mission's complete and they're going to place. Well, they just don't have the same power to get another person like Biden in unless we all jump on the Tucker Carlson train. I don't think the clock's going to run out, though. And I'll be honest, I think it's because Trump is working on a mission ordained by God. And I think he's got divine guidance, divine protection. I believe we're in what's called a Kairos moment, which means prophetically speaking in the church world, the prophetic world, that means that this is a moment that God has chosen to shift the world, and he's using Trump as his vessel to do it. So I don't think they're going to win. I don't think they have a chance. Let's see. Glenn Beck being one of the voice of reason, the biggest surprises to me of the secretary, right? Me too. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to take off. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Hopefully the sound is fixed. It's a better place so that tomorrow when I start, we won't waste any time. But it's a beautiful time to be alive, guys. We're going to, Carson with a $5 super chat. Thank you, Carson. Says, thanks for taking the time out of your week. You're welcome. I'll be back again tomorrow, guys, 12 o'clock and on Friday. So thank you guys so much. Thanks to everybody who gave today, everybody who contributed to the stream, questions, comments, and super chats, of course, memberships, all that, guys. You guys are the best. I appreciate you so much. Let's pray, call it a day, and I'll be back tomorrow. So Heavenly Father, thank you for today. Bless everybody here, Lord. Thank you for them and their patience with me as I figured out the vacation stream for my new setup. But yeah, bless everybody here, Lord. Bless President Trump and what he's trying to accomplish. Pray that we all make sure it's seen through by doing our part, and we can just make this country a better country for our nation going forward, and our kids, their kids, our great-grandkids. In Jesus' name, amen. Bless you guys. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all tomorrow. God bless.
Headlines screaming like a siren at night. Red and blue shouting, nobody's right. Smoke in the streets, truth under attack.